Good morning everyone, welcome to my channel. So in today's video, it's going to be a share of what I picked up on a recent outing to the Sewing Lair and also a couple op shops. So I'll just run through my pile of goodies that I have here in front of me and a couple of the things I purchased because of up and coming projects. So I'll sort of have a bit of a chat about why I selected it and where that product could go in the future for what we do, sew stitch. The first couple items are pretty normal for me. If I see a crocheted little cloth, tablecloth runner that has a very interesting little motif, I grab it. And this one was $8, probably worth every cent. Probably would see it cheaper. Wouldn't pay any much more than that for them because they are mass produced by China back in the 80s and were often connected to linen parties, especially here in Australia. So they were everywhere. Then some of the discount department stores got onto the trend and pretty much was flooding the market with them. So they are everywhere. So don't feel like you have to save them. You're saving them from landfill. That's what you're doing with these ones because there were just so many of them made. But they're fantastic as, you know, nibbling components out of them, handy for decorative slow stitch, which is definitely a style that I like to do, incorporating a lot of crocheting into my pieces. So that's like a 900 by 900 square, and then there was this little runner there as well, and I think it was $3. So a little bit expensive, but you know, what the hang. I like this one because I like this little guy. That's a really pretty little floral motif. Yeah, so really good. Now that's what I got from one particular store. My friend was with me and she was looking for toys for her dogs. So she picked up quite a lot of suitable toys and she found a cat tunnel. So she had completely different, you know, set of eyes than what I did. So it was a lot of fun. It was really good fun. Now, this was also at the second op shop. Now, this is a throw, I would say, by Kmart or Target here in Australia. That brand Home looks very familiar. It's in really good condition. It's not stained. I was quite impressed when I saw it. I've gone over it with a fine-tooth comb. My initial thought was to use all these pieces of colour in a project. So I was like, well, even if there's a stain, I'm okay with that because I'll chop it up. So I've since got it home and had a really good look at it. I've now nappy sanded it, laundered it, and it is, I think, never used. Like I can't even see where anywhere, like something's rubbed on it or it's even been laundered. So I'm going to say that this was a very good find. I think I paid $8 for it, which is great. And what I'm thinking of doing now with it, since I've had a night to sleep on it, is slow stitching onto it using this as my decorative base. And then I add fabrics and florals and things and slow stitch into it. So that's sort of where I'm looking at going with this. Now, as I mentioned in a previous video, my cousin is expecting a little boy at the end of the year. So I've sort of got in the back of my mind a gift. And now my instinct was to do something for baby. And that sort of puts you in a very small little window. A, it's a boy. B, it's really baby, and they're not babies for very long. So then I started to think about mum. And these are her colours. If I could not have picked her home any better. And I thought, okay, well, if this is a throw, maybe I can do some bits and pieces of embroidery on it and keep it simple, keep it subtle. I could put a lining in the back if I wanted to, or just make my stitches nice and neat so that it was decorative on the back and she could see my adventure. That does put a lot of pressure on me to be very, very neat, but a lining could easily be stitched in, and then I go through and do a bit of camphor quilting in here to attach the lining. So up and coming project. We've got plenty of time because baby's not due till the end of the year, and we're going to use this to create a throw for mum so she can cuddle her baby in the throw, and then it's just something for mum that she got when baby was born. So that's what I'm deciding to do for this little baby coming. So just a bit of a update, I guess, on a future project, and I feel like I'm sort of coming together in my thoughts for it all. I have a friend that does a lot of crocheting, and she has these gorgeous bears, so I think for baby I will order a bear from her, so then there's, you know, a memento, and then I'm going to do a very personal piece for my cousin that she can use as she looks after her baby. And I guess if more babies come along, she might enjoy bringing this piece back out. So that's the plan for this throw. So if you're out gifting, shopping, shopping, something to think about, to have a look at the throws, or even if you're in the Kmart's, Big W's, you know, the Walmarts, have a look at their throw rugs. Is it a good thickness? Can you stitch onto it? Why not? You can always add a backing to hide your stitching. Yeah, that's where I'm heading with that project. So stay tuned for the mama rug, something for mum. Now, Sewing Lair. Now, you've seen these guys pop up around the place because they've got a website. So, for example, Christine from Create Craft with Christine, she often does Thrifty Thursday, and she's got all sorts of places that she visits and gathers her bits and pieces for her projects, and one of them is the Sewing Lair. I'm lucky enough to have the Sewing Lair about 5k down the road from me. They have recently moved locations, not far, probably only about half a kilometre from where they were. So I've been meaning to get there and check out the new digs. So I did. My friend and I, off we went, and I picked up a few really good treasures. I was very mindful of picking things that I knew I could immediately use. I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole of getting things for one day because I've just got too much stuff. So everything I picked up, what would I use it for in the next 6 months? That was my brief. Now, first of all, the yarn, I picked some neutral colours and a baby pink. Whenever I make a journal, these hang off the spine. Whenever I'm stitching into my work, I use these as texture. And this last winter, not the one we're going into in Australia, last year, Spotlight there, where I usually get this from, didn't have it in stock at all. Eyelash yarn, I just couldn't find anywhere. It might be back in stock this winter, but it was very rare, so got a little bit of panic because this is my favourite and I couldn't get it, and I've used it all. So I was rapt to see that. Nice neutral, and then the pink. So that was my reasoning behind picking those up. So that's a good find. Now this, they had a bit of a jewellery section. Now if you've been following me for a little while, I'm working through Henrik the hare, and I want to add whiskers to Henrik. So as soon as I saw this, I thought, perfect. I want some big, droopy, exaggerated whiskers. It's just a strip of leather you would use to thread beads on to make a necklace. Or you could plait it to make a wider band. Yeah, there was just like this little pile of bits and pieces for jewellery making. So I probably would have preferred black, and I nearly put it back. But then when I got it home and grabbed Henrik, he's all those burgundy reds and creams. It was beautiful. So this is going to be Henrik's whiskers. So that's, they've written on there 1.5 mil. So if you're making Henrik, that's what I'm using for his whiskers. So that's the logic behind that. Printed fabric. I was very, very strong. This is the only one I bought. And the reason why, it's a panel with images on it that go, see, $2. $2. That is really, really good value. The images roll from nature to travel to letters, remembering, letters, quilting bee, nature, sewing, family, friendship. What a cracker. What a cracker. So what I'm thinking, when I was standing there going, okay, Corrine, what are you doing? Do you need it? What are you going to do with it? Another up and coming project. I'm going to make some journals to hold stitcheries. So the plan is to do a tutorial video series showing what I do in the creation of the book to hold all my stitcheries. So I thought what I'll do is use this as my base. These images can have some stitching done on them and they will become the front cover. And I will have a lovely little range of journals to hold future stitcheries ready to go. So if I do something small, and I'm thinking of using a Reader's Digest as my base. So this is just a small stitchery book. All the stitchery books that I've done with the Roxy projects have been cookbooks. Gives you that nice wide palette. I want something a little bit smaller so I can just do little quick stitcheries, maybe trying out a technique. Say I see a YouTube video and I'm like, oh wow, I've never thought to do that with a fabric or that with a thread. I can do a quick little sample because I forget, everything gets forgotten. I see it, get excited. By the time I've had my next meal, it's gone. So I'm going to do these little stitchery books on a Reader's Digest with everything in it ready to go. And these will be the little cover. And as you can see, I've got a bit of a different story happening going. So I could have a sewing one, a nature one, a friendship one, you know, I don't know. And they would be lovely little gifts to give people around me that come into my craft room and go, oh, wow, I've never done that. Well, I could go to the cupboard and grab one of these little mini stitchery books and put a little project together with them. And it's not daunting, you know. We're talking, if that's the front cover imagery, and then the little book comes out. I'm sure you all know what Reader's Digests and their size is. So once again, that was the real up and coming project. That is going to be the base of the project. Now, tulle. There was a huge bag of tulle there, massive bag. And I said to the lady, do you mind if I upend it? Because what I'm looking for is soft tulle. The cheaper tulles I find are quite stiff, and they are perfect if you're making a tutu for a little girl. You need that tulle to sort of hold some body. What I'm looking for is that bridal tulle. It's delicate, it's soft, and it drapes. As you can imagine, as it hangs over the bride or over her shoulders, you want that real softness. So I rummaged through the whole bag and I found two pieces. They're two different coloured creams. Absolutely gorgeous. You probably can't pick up the difference there as much, but yeah, they're beautiful. So they've been laundered and they're just going into my basket, ready for when I just need an itty bitty bit. There were bigger chunks of it there, but I just picked a couple, you know, small little bits. I think she only charged $1 each for them, but yeah, really good. So part of my supplies. There was lots of bags of lace, $2. I had seen them on their website and they were mixtures. And I thought, oh, girl, you do not need them. Stop. You don't need them. And then I saw this little piece and I thought, that is handy. And you can see why. It's just a morsel that's come off of a panel. And to me, that just gives me fantastic elements that can be separated and broken down. So that is going straight into the goodies bucket that sits on my desk. Now the next thing, this was one of those purchases where I probably didn't need it, but the more I looked at it, the more ideas started to come. Now it's a thickened webbing in a strip. Now I've got smaller versions of it, 2 inches, that I plan to put my name on there or a stamped image on there. So that straight away was yes, I could use it. Then I was like, well, I've already got 2. I don't know if I really need it. Then I started thinking, well, if I was to do a snippet roll, this would be the good base to work on. I thought, well, there's a positive. Lay in heaps of bits and pieces, do a bit of embroidery. I can cut it up for journals, whatever. The other thing I thought of would make a good binding on a project. It's already got a selvaged end, so I don't even need to do that, and that. I could if I needed a narrow one, but I don't need to. I've got a binding. So I thought that was a bonus. It is a little bit stained. I'd say it has sat somewhere maybe in a workshop. My guess is this may have even come from a upholstery business, and they use these elements to reinforce the edge of fabrics. Like that could be stitched in there with the fabric to give it a little bit more body at the end. It just feels as if this edge has sat somewhere and it's been pulled off and used. So I don't know its story, but I thought, no, that's mine. And how much did I pay for it? Where was the little sticker? $2. I think I'll get value out it without it becoming just another thing in my room that I just never use. So a girl has to have some self-control. It's something that must happen. So that was that. Now, the next thing I got from those guys was this. It's a scrap from someone's project, so it's all different shapes, and it's full of butterflies. Now, I picked up a piece in New Zealand that was full of butterflies from a quilt shop, and I think I paid $15 for it. This was in the big bin, everything $1. So I couldn't believe it. So I sort of feel a bit better that I paid $15 for a nice fabric from a quilt shop, and then I picked up this one for $1. You know, my butterflies are now looking like they don't cost me so much. It's a little bit heavier, so it's going to stitch well. Generic blue, we can turn that into any colour we want, and it's a good base colour anyway. I love the background. I've even got the word butterfly. So I thought, yeah, let's stretch to that. It's not going to, you know, make me feel like I've got some guilt happening. So the next few pieces aren't as exciting because they're all base fabrics. Now let me just pull them over. As you can see, they're all cream. So this is where I was like very strong and just got fabrics that are the base to something. So this is just a beautiful linen. The tag. So the length, I got 55 centimetres and it's 65 centimetres wide, $2, a cream off-white linen, a nice base. This one here is a piece of calico, but it's a canvas calico, so it's quite stiff. Now, this is going to be used in a project that you'll be watching in a couple of weeks' time. So I wanted a bit of structure to the project, and this canvas calico is going to work a treat. And I've got some good meterage of it because I want to make a few of this particular project. You're going to be screaming at the TV now going, Corrine, just tell us. I can't. Hold your horses, you lot. So I've got 2.3 metres and it's 75 centimetres wide. Doesn't say a price on there, but I think she charged me $5 from memory. So you can buy this currently in most big box stores, Spotlight, Hobby Lobby, those types of places. So it's just like a canvas calico. So that was a good score. Then I got this piece of homespun. Now this would have been probably from a quilt store. It's really good, and it really holds the pin well. It's not like giving me much friction. Same with that. I had a pin in the shop and I was poking everything to make sure it was not going to be a painful thing to stitch. And this piece I got 3 meters, cost me $10, and it's 1.5 meters wide. So excellent. All of it is in really good condition. I can't see stain lines from being folded, so I sort of feel like I don't need to worry about the laundering side of things. They smell good. There's no smoke smell or anything. It just smells like fabric. So really happy with those two heavier weight fabrics. And my beautiful linen. This is just plain old calico. It was $2 and I got 90 centimeters and it's 1.8 wide. So that's just base calico. That is just so handy. Sorry, Spotlight, you're not going to get $10 out of me to buy 3 meters. I've picked up a little bit extra calico to add to my collection. Now this was a good find. I have this already in my stash and I'm getting down to the last of it. I bought it many years ago at a quilt shop as just a nice canvasy fabric. Like you often see this in table runners, and it's really good as a surface to add to our slow stitch. You cut a little morsel out and stitch it in. It just gives that texture. Really nice piece. It's a scrap, so someone's been in here before me, and I picked that up for $2 and got it 1.20 meters plus a bit. I think that's the little bit on the end. So very, very good buy. So in the end, from Sewing Lair, I walked out having spent $32 Australian, and I got all of that beige neutral fabric and different textures. So for me, that's good. It's not just all calico, which is not a bad thing because I use meters of it. I got a project. I got the butterflies, which will disappear into projects, no problems. I got whiskers for Henrik. Yeah, jewelry's out, but I think I will use it. I'm going to make sure I use it. I got tulle to help with slow stitch and soft bridal tulle, and I got the 4 balls of wool. Now these 4 balls of wool alone, brand new at Spotlight, you're looking at $3 a ball. 1, 2, 3, 4. So already you can see the savings that I got from this particular shop at Sewing Lair. Now I'll put their description in. I'll put their details in the description below so you can have a little look at their website. I probably recommend check it occasionally. It tends to be, I don't know, I got the feeling that they're getting a lot of people coming and they're not keeping their stock up as quick because it's a volunteer business. Everything goes to charity. So, you know, not always volunteers come to work, and I'd say there's a lot of us looking at their website. They charge a flat rate of freight for Australians of $12, so you sort of want to grab a few things to make it worthwhile. Therefore, you would probably take a good chunk of their stock from them, and then it takes time. It takes time to repackage, reprice. We're dealing with volunteers, so have patience with the business. Keep checking on them. And you'll, you know, potluck, you might pick up some treasures. I don't think I'll go back for probably another 6 months, just to, you know, not be the one in there every week cleaning them out. If you're, yeah, I sort of feel like I probably wouldn't see a lot for a little while. It's very much potluck, but a great little business because everything's going to just different charities. You can read all about them on the internet. So that's for the Aussie ladies watching. Sorry everyone else, yeah, but I'm sure you've got similar charities where you are, so try and track them down. Now Op Shop found this it's a Santa sack, $4, which is just ironic considering my day job is Christmas stores. And I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm buying a Santa sack. But the Santa sack has this beautiful fabric, and it's a big one. And even in my circles, when I'm stocking my businesses with Christmas items, I've never seen this sack. So I felt okay to purchase it. So the plan is I have a Christmas project coming up for the second half of the year, and this red fabric will be very handy, and I have plenty, plus little snippets of it in journals. It's got that ticking feel. It even sort of feels like ticking. So the plan is I'll break it down to reduce some of the bulk. Inside is a pretty ordinary fabric. It's not a cotton. It's got a bit of a sheen to it, synthetic. So I'll cut all of that out, break it down, launder it, fold it up, and it'll be ready for future projects. So that was a good buy. A lovely big piece of red. Let's call it ticking. It's not ticking, but it sort of is ticking. It probably is ticking. It really does feel quite strong. So there you go. That's my finds. A couple op shop finds there and there. My friend got lots of toys for her dogs, so she was wrapped. Henrik's getting some whiskers, and yeah, I think I did good considering the temptations. Oh my goodness. Oh, you've really got to go with a clear head. You must not be weak, otherwise you'll come home with so much stuff and you'll never ever use it all. Let's be honest. So try and think about everything and what you would use it for. And if it's meant to be, it'll be there waiting for you. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you in peace and enjoy your day. I hope you get a bit of time to swing on the end of a needle and thread and do some stitching. Bye for now.